Chapter 15. What? The final disbursement of the inheritance was issued. Made me feel worried because I wanted to invest it in a secure business. My financial advisor insisted I put away in an IRA Roth while I also considered a life insurance plan. Trying to plan my portfolio out because I desperately was trying to get a proven business model for a turn operation but still wasn't wanting to make a big risk. Looking at the fad in Vegas with oxygen bars. Heavy in tourist areas, but not so much in states that weren't tourist areas. I planned on SBA loans and nothing was sticking because finally, through these loans, there needed to be a running capital, so additional funds were needed, so I finally scrapped the idea altogether. Finally decided emergency fund was needed to be started in case money ran out midstream. I talked with an owner at a coffee spot for sale, but he kept going up in price, which was a red flag by itself. So nothing concretely stuck in the adventure or business model. I did more karaoke gigs, which I had few thrown at me. Karaoke gigs came, but few and in between. Meanwhile, the trolls started attacking me and stealing more of my material online. Military guy who lived in North Carolina, Jeremy Redacted, introduced himself saying he was a fan of my work and notified me of certain trolls who still were taking my material and putting them up at certain sites. This concerned me, but felt overwhelmed on how to get the garbage removed. Around this time, these internet jerk-offs started getting more vocal. My webmaster at Savannah Concierges encouraged me to buy all domains with my show title name and also encouraged me to do constant new material through my website, to also place up shows on different links on my website. Throughout my downtime, I would look on the internet for old composers of the 70s. Finally, I looked at rock legend Suzi Quattro's page and sent a response to talk with her publicist. Thinking I was talking with her publicist, I actually was speaking with the Suzi Quattro through emails being sent back and forth. We set up the spot in Miami Beach near Del Rey. Since she lived in the UK, we finally arranged her dates of when she was coming to visit in the States. In the month of February, we set up a television show interview on February 9th, 2008. We met in South Beach, Florida, in one of the famous hotels on the strip in Miami, 1A, hotel known as the Seagulf Hotel. Drove down to Miami Beach and stayed at the same hotel Susie was staying at. We filmed the scene in one of the ritzy hotels. Rooms within the ballroom of the hotel with a big baby grand piano. We were going we to have her play that piano, but it was out of tune. Later we found out it was only there for show. I came out of pocket for the filming crew that came and filmed it. Through the interview, we talked about her life story on how she felt like she was the female version of Elvis, the Queen of Leather, and all about her music career. Also on how she brought Pat Benatar and Joan Jett in the music business. Also talking about her time on Happy Days on how people confused her with the character Pinky who dated the Fonz. She said simply that wasn't her, but her character was Leather Tuscadero. I wanted to party with her after, but the time was short and she was heading back on a plane to London with her husband, Rain Haas from Germany. Clearly one of the best shows I've ever did. Actually, to rephrase, it has the best show I ever did, interviewing a famous performer, singer and actress, and put me on the map, minus all the bullshit from the trolls. I was wrestling with the idea of actually selling that DVD box sales from my show with Suzy Quattro since she nationwide was popular in a lot of territory throughout the world and planet Earth. Again, minus what these trolls are doing, we were getting hits from around the world in foreign countries in the UK and Germany due to her popularity. I actually was intoxicated by her presence. I didn't want to finish the interview because she very much captivating. When I got back home, we aired the interview on the show. Again, one of the proudest moments on my show. I got to showcase an iconic classic interview with an iconic classy performer known worldwide. Proudest moment in the Gorgeous George show. Planning for the shows and doing some more editing with Jim Redacted, and we planned for the 2008 season, while the public access network aired the heck out of that interview with Suzi Quattro. Suzi Quattro, till this day, are still in communications. I still try to plan out a second interview when the timing is right. Very talented and beautiful woman, and it was a great interview. Meanwhile, Jim and I worked on trying to convert a lot of the shows that were on VHS tape to DVD. We took a stab at it, but there was a whole lot more till this day on VHS that needs to be converted. While there was a lot more to convert, I was talked into making a box set of my shows from shows that were already converted. So we ended up burning a bunch of DVDs and labeled them as far as chapters and burned 2 shows per disc. Then Jim looked over the shows and did the final editing with me. In the box set, we had a girl named Sandy who appeared, and she was tatted up with crazy tattoos. That's when she, alive on television, proposed her love for me and wanted my sperm to create a baby. It was all in act, but she would rub herself all over me throughout the show while we did the sperm dance. What? I finally let Kevin host a show while we actually were making out on camera. That part wasn't staged because she was getting into the character and it progressed it in 2 month relationship until she dropped off the face of the earth. The trolls ruined that particular show among other shows and stole my material. On the twisted sites, Sandy would argue with the trolls and told them to fuck off. Pretty funny material and great backing for me to have her in my camp even for the shortest period that it was. Sandy eventually rode Space Mountain and had some my semen within her. Only a good thing, especially when we were complete strangers, just for her to appear in my show and then eventually for us to have a roll in the hay. Spectacular, to say the least. While Jim and I did the final editing for the box set, we put and started selling the box set on eBay and other sites. I ended up selling about over 20 T of the box sets. A few of these Nimrod trolls were probably the ones who brought these box sets. Nevertheless, a profit was made of $500 or so, and people could buy these DVDs from my website that was made in 2008 by Webmaster. Jeremy, though, the problem I thought about since I didn't want my show mass copied by these individuals, I decided to cease the sales of the DVDs so these internet trolls could have access to my work, something I was fighting from the very beginning. One individual who bought my box set was a lady named Angela Redacted, aka maiden name Angela Redacted. She had just moved from Washington State to Tennessee, and she claimed she was a big fan of my work and wanted an autographed box set. So we spoke on the phone and claimed she wanted to see me even and make things right, even though she is a married woman. We spoke for a few months on the phone and began talking regularly. Finally, the summer of 2008 was quickly approaching, and so was my 40th birthday party. Sue started calling and told me she wanted to see me, and she was finally ready to come with me to Virginia. I said, "Why are you making contact with me after you showed your ass the last time I was down there?" She told me she would make it up to me, so I told myself, what the fuck. It was nearing my 40th birthday party. Why not try one more time and I could spend my birthday in Vegas? So I ended up having my birthday party at the banquet hall of the Holiday, doing karaoke with Paul Redacted spinning the karaoke tunes. Kevin and Vince and the usual crowd and cast helped me celebrate, and fun was had by all. Then 2 weeks later went to Vegas to give Sue the final chance to work out our differences. It was like a western driving through the desert. She lived in Pahrump and worked at some bar called the Who's Dunes. When I walked in Who's Dunes, there she was bartending behind the bar. I was all dressed up to the nines, and everyone else was dressed trousers, pants, and blue jeans and polyester. I was dressed in my Amari suit. She spotted me and ran over and gave me an unexpected hug. Though knowing the track record, I was going to get emotionally high and told myself I will accept the outcome either way, and it was the very last chance of chasing her. She bartending, and we spoke at length about after work coming back with me to Vegas and getting ready to leave back home with me to Virginia. Finally, after literally me hanging out there for half the day, she gave me her current number and told me she couldn't go back to Vegas from Peru that day, but will be able to on the next time I come in a few days. The scene looked like a bunch of hobos and farmers in the desert, and me dressed to the hilt in my white blazer. While I knew it was probably another long shot and another game on her part, I tried calling her with no answer. So after a few days, I drove back down to Pahrump. Got there early, and there she was behind the bar. Though this time, I looked shocked to see me. While I was ready to walk in, she came running out asking me why I didn't call. I said, I did call, but couldn't get her. She said, unfortunately, I have to leave because her husband knows I'm in town.
I said, I don't give a flying fuck.
You are leaving him, right? So that's what you said on the phone before I got here. So which fuck is it?
I can't leave with you to Vegas, and I can't serve you because the owner of this bar is friends with my husband.
I said, I should have known this was another fucking scam on your part. So you can't even serve me a beer.
No, I can't. You can't be here.
I told her, fuck her. I got in the blue Mustang I rented, did a couple wheelies around the shack of the restaurant, left marks in the parking lot, and drove off. That was the official end of Sue. 9 years of my life was put on hold, chasing that bitch. Later on, her daughter emailed me wanting to know the whereabouts of her mother, and I told her. Jennifer was her daughter's name, and she obviously saw her, and she poisoned her daughter against me after I reunited them. May Sue rot in hell. I had nothing but hate and anger toward her, and there ended that chapter of me chasing her in 2008.